Hi, it's Cheryl with Caribou Country Lifestyle. So I'm in my kitchen and I have been ripening my tomatoes that I have picked out for my garden, and I have some of my cherry tomatoes here, and what I'm doing is I'm about to dehydrate them in my dehydrator. But first I'm actually taking the seeds out of my cherry tomatoes. And the different types of cherry tomatoes that I have are my natural black cherry and yellow pear, chocolate sprinkles, and then just a regular cherry tomato. The reason why I'm taking the seeds out of the tomatoes first is because probably about 2.5 years ago, I had some stomach issues. And so they did some tests and they found out that I have diverticulosis. I also have a small hiatica hernia, and I take acid reflux as well. So those little tiny seeds that are in those tomatoes, in the past they haven't bothered me, but I noticed this year that once the tomatoes had ripened, and I started eating a lot of toasted tomato sandwiches, and we were having a lot of tomatoes in salads. And probably a couple of weeks ago, I noticed that I was having some belly issues, and I was kind of wondering if it wasn't the tomatoes, the seeds in the tomatoes. So I'm just kind of doing this as a precaution. So I'm going to bring you along and show you how I'm going to take the seeds out, and I'm actually going to save the seeds. So I've just separating the tomatoes because I want to make sure that I'm saving the seeds separately, because I don't want to be mixing them all together. I want to have them separate so then I know which is which. So I'll bring you along for that. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm cutting the cherry tomato in half. This is my natural black cherry, and then I'm just taking and I'm scooping out these seeds, and I'm just taking a spoon and I'm actually scooping them out, and then I'm putting them into this jar. Now I've already done my yellow pear tomatoes, and I've already done my chocolate sprinkled tomatoes. So I just have the natural black cherry, and I have my little cherry tomatoes, and then I'm just putting them on my tray. These are the ones that I have that are ripe right now. And what I'm doing is I'm labeling the jar. This one has cherry tomatoes written on that, and this one has the natural black cherry. So then again, I am digging out the seeds. This one's a little harder. Ooh, I just made it explode. I've noticed that there's a way to cut these so that you can get to the seeds really a lot more easier than that was, because all my seeds just exploded onto my cutting board. And then I'm putting it over there. This one, if I cut this one the right way, looking at the outside of the tomato, I'm not exactly sure which way is the right way. I just happen to cut this one the right way. With my yellow pear, it was a lot easier to tell. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scoop these with my knife back onto my spoon and get them into the jar. There, that wasn't too hard. Okay, so I'll grab another one. And it's just hoping it's the right way. Oh, that was relatively the right way. So I'll dig those out. And then I'm basically just leaving the flesh and the skins, and I will dehydrate the tomatoes. And then what you can do is you can, once they're dehydrated, you can actually eat them as a snack, or you can save them and rehydrate them and put them into a pasta dish or any type of dish that actually requires cherry tomatoes in them. I normally would put it into some type of a pasta dish when I use cherry tomatoes in my cooking. But I have also heard about just dehydrating them and eating them as a snack. I've never done that, and this is why I'm trying this, is because I have a lot of cherry tomatoes and I just can't eat them all in the amount of time that they have. So again, I didn't cut this the right way, and I'm just not sure how to tell on this tomato which is the right way and which is the wrong way. It's kind of confusing, actually. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do once I get all of these get all the seeds out of the tomatoes. Okay, so I've taken the seeds out of my tomatoes. I don't really have a whole heck of a lot. These are the natural black cherry and the yellow pear. So I've got those in the top. And then, oh, actually, those were the chocolate sprinkles and the yellow pear. And these are the natural black cherry and just the regular cherry tomatoes. So I've got them, putting them in my dehydrator. And this is an Excalibur dehydrator. This one is a 9-tray Excalibur dehydrator, kind of an overkill since I only have 2 trays here. And what I want to have it set at is 125. So I have my temperature set. And then it said to have it for 5 to 9 hours, depending on your tomatoes. And since these are just cherry tomatoes, I'm going to set it for 5 hours. Okay, and that's it for that. It's 4 o'clock, so these we'll check them again at 9 o'clock tonight. So let's move over to the other side of my kitchen. And so over here, I'll just move my tap out of the way. Over here, I have this jar here. That's the natural black cherry. I've got chocolate sprinkles, yellow pear, and then the cherry tomatoes. And probably have about, I would say, maybe 1/4 cup. And this is just the seeds and some of the pulp. But what I want to do is I'm going to add, since it's 1/4 cup of the pulp with the juice and the seeds, I'm only going to add 1/4 cup of water, kind of like a 1-to-1 ratio. And why I'm going to add the water is what's going to happen is the water is going to, over time, it's going to help and what I want to have happen is I'm having the seeds ferment. And what that will do is it's going to break down those seeds. There's a gel coating on those seeds, and you want to break that down. You want to make sure that that isn't on those seeds, because what happens is that coating, it makes the seeds not viable. They won't grow. And what you want to do is, after you've broke down that gel coating on it, then you want to be able to dry the seeds after that. So once I add the water in here, I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to let it sit for about 5 days, and it's going to get like a scummy, fermenting, like a mold growing on it. And that's what I want, is I want that mold. So I'm gonna do the same thing. My cherry tomatoes, there's probably only about a tablespoon of liquid in here, so I'm not gonna be adding as much. I didn't get very much off of the cherry tomato seeds, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna use the water from my kettle. We don't drink this water from our tap. We just use it for cleaning. It's got just, I'm not sure what it has in it, but I don't think it's good for drinking. So I have, this water came from bottled water, and I'm just gonna add a quarter of a cup in there, quarter of a cup in there, and the same with that one. And this one I'm not going to put anywhere near as much. There. And like I say, I've labeled these all. And I'm going to grab my spoon, because I see a couple of seeds here on the side of the jar. And I just want to get it down closer to the liquid. I want to make sure it's not stuck to my spoon still. And I've got a couple more seeds in my chocolate sprinkles. And I just want to push it down into the water. And the same with my natural black cherry. And I'm gonna have a lot more seeds than this that are going to be, that I will be doing the same thing with them, saving those seeds, because I'm gonna dehydrate pretty much all of my cherry tomatoes. So I'm just giving that a little shake. Make sure I get all of the seeds into the liquid. Put the lid on. And there's that. So then I will do a follow-up on my seeds and how they're doing. And I'm pretty excited about trying this. I'll show you. I still have a lot, well, I've used up a lot of my tomatoes, but I still have quite a few that I'm having to deal with. So I'm not exactly sure. I don't have any room on my window. If I got some of this stuff off my windowsill, I could put them up on the windowsill. But it's kind of cold now. We actually had our first snowfall a couple of days ago, and it's November the 5th. So we had our first snowfall, but I'm just going to show you. I still have all of these cherry tomatoes. Most of them are the natural black cherry tomatoes. I seem to have an abundance of those, but there's quite a few chocolate sprinkle tomatoes in there, and we'll just go out to the garage as well. I'm going to show you some more. So how I've organized this is this box here has all my green tomatoes in that. I've taken out the ones that are starting to ripen. So I still got quite a few of the cherry smaller tomatoes in there. And then I have another box. Same thing. These are pretty much mostly green. And then in here, in this other box, when they start ripening, then I put them in here. So probably I'll be able to use some of these larger tomatoes, and I'm gonna try and save some of the seeds from them as well. The problem with this is I'm not exactly sure which varieties these are, so maybe I won't save the seeds from some of these. I know what some of them are, but I don't know what all of them are, so that's unfortunate. But anyways, that's my organizing my tomatoes. I also want to show you, I have that's my cayenne pepper plant that I brought in. I didn't lose that, so I was able to bring that in, and I'm just waiting until those peppers ripen up. Maybe they're not going to change color. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with them. Okay, so now I'm just going to find a place to store these tomato seeds that I have fermenting, and then we'll come back again and I'll show you what's going on with them. And I'll probably have some more that I'm going to be getting ready to take the seeds out of those cherry tomatoes and save those as well. I also wanted to show you since we're on the subject of saving seeds, I actually have, these are some seeds that I have been saving, and I actually have a baggie. So these are hollyhocks, and these are the buds that I picked off of my hollyhocks, and I'm gonna put in a little picture of, these are my Halo Mix hollyhocks. Is what I have picked the buds off after they were done flowering, and these started to dry and start to open. I picked them off of my plant, and I have picked out all of these seeds. Like, there's hundreds in this bag. I also have been saving, this seems to be the year for me to save seeds. This little container, I am starting to open up those little seed pods from my Chinese Toy Choy. And I am opening up those seed pods and collecting the seeds from those as well. I probably have at least 50 seeds just in this little container alone. And my brother-in-law had these beautiful big orange marigolds. I'm not sure what the variety was, but he actually gave me a baggie, and I didn't want to keep them in the baggie because they were still quite moist. So I put them in this dish, and I'm just letting them dry out, and then I'm going to take and separate all the seeds, and I'll put them back into the baggie. And I'm going to start some of these next year. So I'm excited about that too. So this is what I have going on. And I just wanted to bring you in and show you what I have happening. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, throw in a like. And if you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Thanks for joining me. And we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.